Good evening and welcome to Far West League basketball action on TableRockSports.net featuring the St. Mary's Crusaders and the Cascade Christian Challengers, a pair of crosstown rivals teeing it up tonight in what should be and always is a fun matchup.
Yeah, it always is.
You never have to worry about guys being fired up to play this basketball game.
No, but it's always one of those games that everybody seems to get up for. Stands are full tonight, at least on this side of the court. A few seats over on the other side, but everybody is always engaged in this crosstown rivalry, and it's been great so far tonight. As the JVs ended up losing. We lost our game by just a couple of points to St. Mary's, and then actually 3 points. And then the girls, of course, who just got finished with their game and lost by a pair of points. So it's been a tight matchup all night. Not sure we expect this one to be quite so tight. Hopefully the challengers, at least if you look at it on paper, having defeated both Douglas as well as Brookings, and you see St. Mary's has lost to South Umpqua and Douglas. The Challengers beat South Umpqua and Douglas and Brookings. So Challengers have so far a completely unscathed record in league, and currently the St. Mary's Crusaders are 0-2.
Well, we know one thing about the Crusaders, and this will be our first look at them during basketball season, but you look at their roster, you know that they have some athleticism on this team, a relatively young team. You know that we talked about all year long as you and I cover the Challengers night in and night out about their lone senior and Cody Reese. You look at the Crusaders roster, and it is also a young team with Travis Johnson and Eli Haynes, the only senior on the Crusaders side of things. So we're seeing a lot of guys tonight that we'll see for years to come. And you talk about multi-sport athletes: Noah Friesen, TJ Flowers, Indiana Olsen, Chris Cranenberg, Caden Walker, Eli Haynes, Tyson Del Planche, some other guys that we see, Jaden Foster, and Travis Johnson. Those are a lot of guys that, they're at this, it seems like in one capacity or another, all year round.
Yeah, and that's true of the Challengers for the most part, too. A lot of football players on that Challenger roster as well. But it's maybe a little more one-sided as far as football players go, anyway, with the Crusaders. But we'll see. It'll be a war. It always is between these two teams. Anytime they get together, and especially over here at the Pavilion, it's been a long time since St. Mary's has won a basketball game here.
Well, I think anybody who follows the local sports scene, as far as the Challengers are concerned, they know all about cheat code. Austin Maurer and the video game numbers he seems to put up on a nightly basis. Then you have Cody Reese, who was actually the leading scorer for the Challengers on Wednesday night, and he's having a tremendous senior campaign as the second leading scorer. Earlier in the year, the question is going to be, okay, who's going to be that kind of third scoring option? It looked like for a period of time it would be Cannon Anderson, and then he ends up breaking a wrist in the game against Douglas. And then on Wednesday night, we're kind of watching that a little bit, and maybe a guy that, for one thing, in terms of playing time, we're seeing more Briley Richardson and Dylan Westlake. And I think in terms of the guy manufacturing some points and also knocking some down from long range is Peyton Maurer.
Yeah, Peyton Maurer has stepped up and unfortunately sprained his ankle a bit in the last game the Challengers played. But I think for the most part, from what I can tell, he's pretty much back to himself, so we'll see how he shoots it tonight with maybe slightly hobbled at least by that ankle injury, but he's out there getting warmed up and looks pretty good so far from what we've seen. So it'll take a yeoman's defensive effort for sure tonight for the Challengers. As you mentioned, there's quite a few athletes on that St. Mary's team, and I think other than Austin, obviously, I think if you look at the size, St. Mary's is considerably taller than most of the other Challengers on the floor tonight. So it'll be interesting to see if we see a little more of Daniel Nearing tonight, or to maybe bang on one of the bigger guys for St. Mary's. But it'll be quite a game either way, because it seems like every time these teams get together, it's a war.
Indeed. Well, coming into the ball game, and to a certain extent, I say you throw the records out because it is that fierce type of rivalry that if you get up for nothing else, you play with a little extra measure of emotion. The Crusaders come in with an overall record of 5-9, wins against North Valley twice, and then a narrow victory against Phoenix, and then a win against a Sutherland boys team that is down this year. Meanwhile, the Challengers come in with an 11-4 record. Their only loss in the new year thus far has been a very close game to number 1 Westside Christian. So you got two teams in kind of different states at this point in time, but once again, an expectation that still that whatever it is, the best that St. Mary's has to offer, they're going to give it to the Challengers tonight.
Oh, you know it. It is one of those games that it's like North and South, right? Doesn't really matter who the better team is that year necessarily once you get to that game, because both teams are going to give full effort. Well, one of the guys that we'll be watching, people may remember Trey Foster for so many years for St. Mary's, football player, and also could just do a lot on the basketball court. Jaden Foster, his brother, will be out here this evening, and he'll have a lot of work on both sides of the floor, but no question he's up for the task. You've seen a lot of him as a JV coach. He's a very athletic kid, and last year as a freshman was playing JV and being very successful at it. So he's got the tools and the talent, and like his brother, very athletic and pretty good, has some size too. So we'll see how he does against the 6'10" Austin Maurer. And Austin Maurer, is going to have to do some work against him as well on the defensive end.
Well, I think one of the things that surprised a couple of people and got the Lancers fired up was Austin had a couple of his shots blocked, and I don't think he's used to that. And certainly Foster, if he's anything like his brother, will have some of that leaping ability to, if Austin's not careful, get Wilson stamped on his head a couple of times.
Yeah, he's the one guy that can do that, I think, to Austin, on this Crusader team. So we'll see how that plays out. And I think, what we know or what we've seen so far of the Crusaders, they're pretty exclusively a 2-3 zone team. We saw that in the JV game when we played them earlier. We've seen it on film of the other games they played this year. So the Challengers are looking for opportunities, to get Austin the ball inside that zone and then kick that back out for 3. So I think it's going to be real important for the Challenger, other guys other than Austin, to make a few threes tonight and, keep that zone from just packing in on Austin all night.
Well, the Challengers have guys who can do it. You've got Reese with his penetration, but certainly not only is Peyton Maurer capable of knocking him down, Austin Maurer, of course, but then also guys like Landon Hess that has been relatively quiet. He's been a very strong, solid passer, but he's been a more deferential type of player offensively throughout the year. But now with Anderson on the shelf and a game plan like we're going to see tonight, it will be a big bonus for the Challengers if Hess can jump in and provide something. We're going to go ahead and take a timeout now. We're moments away from the start of the game. We'll be back after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
See it on national TV all the time. They tell us that funerals can average between 7,000 and 10,000.
The Start Something New sales event is going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course, Ram trucks. Choose from our great selection of new Jeep Grand Cherokee L 4x4s. Test drive a new Ram 1500 and see why Ram is Motor Trend's back-to-back-to-back 3-peat Truck of the Year. And remember, we've added the convenience of test drives from your home and an online process to purchase and deliver your new vehicle. Get a Start Something New deal on every new vehicle in stock, only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
Workers' comp claim was denied. Or was it accepted? Now what are you supposed to do? Find out for free. Call Schlesinger and de Villeneuve immediately and let us fight for you.
The Start Something New sales event is going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course, Ram trucks. Choose from our great selection of new Jeep Grand Cherokee L4x4s. Test drive a new Ram 1500 and see why Ram is Motor Trend's back-to-back-to-back 3-peat Truck of the Year. And remember, we've added the convenience of test drives from your home and an online process to purchase and deliver your new vehicle. Get a Start Something New deal on every new vehicle in stock, only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
Waiting, even a few days, to report a work injury or illness could cost you everything. But how do you know what you should do? Find out for free. Call Schlesinger and de Villeneuve immediately and let us fight for you.
The playing of our national anthem as we get ready to start tonight's ball game. Glad you can be here with us. We're going to meet the starting lineups for both teams.
Number 15, a senior, Eli Haynes. Number 20, a junior, Tyson Belmont. Number 30, a junior, Jaden Foster. The Crusaders are directed head coach Kyle Walker, assistant coaches Lisa Close and Ellen Hunter. And now, for your Cascade Christian Challenger. A 5'10" senior guard. Number 1, Cody Reese. A 6'3" sophomore wing. Number 2, Peyton Miller. A 6'1" junior forward. Number 4, Justin White. A 5'11" junior guard. Number 12, Landon Hess. A 6'11" sophomore center. Number 34, Austin Mauer.
And so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The starting lineups for tonight's ball game, the Challengers and the Crusaders. Well, you ready, Mark?
Oh, I guess so. I better be, huh? I think we're gonna go right here.
All right. They're at center court. It will be Foster against Mauer. Tip controlled by the Challengers. Wallace has it back to Austin. Fires right wing for Reese.
And you can see right away, Challengers in that 2-3 zone.
The ball tipped around, and Foster comes up with it. He'll outlet quickly for Caden Walker. Walker gets it back from Tyson Delplanche. Delplanche has it now, being guarded by Peyton Mauer. And you can see they're trying to push it for penetration. Haynes feeds Foster. A shot rejected by Mauer. Now, I don't imagine he has that happen to him too much.
I don't think so.
Meanwhile, going the other way, shot missed by Noah Friesen. Quickly up the floor, the Challengers go. Wallace with it to Reese. He'll go ahead and fire from downtown. He buries it.
Little of that confidence showing for Reese from Wednesday night, I think, right there. That was 2 or 3 feet behind the line.
Cody Reese averaging 14 a game for the Challengers, 26 on Wednesday night. Haynes with the basketball. Corner of the free throw line. The jumper rolls around and off for Caden Walker. Austin Mauer out of backcourt. Now to Reese. Feeds it for Wallace. Wallace will drive hard to the hole. And he kisses it off the glass for 2.
And you got to love the start for the Challengers. A nice little 5-0 run to start the game. And Tristan Wallace getting involved early.
Wallace, more of a dirty work kind of guy. Now they feed the ball and driving hard to the hole. Another rejection for Maurer. Challengers out of backcourt. They let that one go. And
timeout, St. Mary's.
Timeout, Crusaders. And what this will do, actually, for a little bit of housekeeping, the Oregon Athletic Officials Association and Oregon School Activities Association is looking for umpires in baseball and softball. You've been hearing about the need all year long, and that continues. And that's catching your attention. Respond to the call by registering at osaa.org/officials and click on the registration tab. Becoming a high school official has several benefits, including staying involved in supporting youth sports around the state of Oregon. And if you're the Challengers, and we've seen all kinds of different starts over the years against the Crusaders, but you got to be feeling pretty good if you're a Cascade fan at this moment. Out of timeout, Del Planche with the inbound. For Friesen, 6-foot junior. He penetrates. He'll kick it out for Walker now. Around the horn it goes to Foster. Foster going to drive. Del Planche. And he's in the short corner, guarded by Peyton Maurer. Foster kicks it out. Del Planche. A little bit of trouble with it, but he corrals it. Around the horn it goes. Walker for Foster. Guarded by Reese. Ball's loose. Wallace with the rebound out to Peyton Maurer. Peyton drives, spins to the hole. His shot no good, but his brother's there for the putback. 7-0 ball game. Challengers on top. Drive by Eli Haynes. And that'll be a call against Wallace.
Yeah, against Wallace for the little bump on the drive. Not a big fan of that call, but it was made.
5:10 to go in the frame. And pass broken up by Landon Hess. Hess out of backcourt, loses the handle on it. And it's Haynes that comes up with it. Walker going to drive. Bounce pass over for Foster. His shot rolls off. And Reese is there with the weak side rebound. Reese goes behind the back, out of backcourt. Up to Wallace. Now they'll set things up. Peyton Maurer from downtown. His shot no good. And little clutch and grab. And from here it looked to me like it was a St. Mary's defender.
Well, who made all the contact, right?
Right. But that's not the way those things often go.
Well, and that's a terrible call. And I'm not surprised by the source.
No, well, and I have to say, unfortunately, they called the girls' game earlier, and I wasn't impressed with their work there either. Dylan Westlake going to check into the ball game. Sophomore guard. He's been the recipient of a lot of playing time, but I'll tell you what he's going to give is he's going to give you some defense. Out of backcourt, Del Planche. Hess with them. Falls to the floor. And a turnover by the Crusaders. Halfway through the quarter at 4:35 to go.
And the Crusaders had the start the Challengers had earlier on Wednesday, if you remember correctly.
Right. And the lesson you learn from there, it's early on, plenty of chance to come back. Austin Maurer over in the near side corner. Gets it for Reese. He's going to fire from three. He knocks down another one. The three is usually not a part of his ball game, but it is now. And we have a whistle and a foul called against the Challengers.
It's on Dylan Westlake.
That's his first personal foul. 3 team fouls for Cascade.
Pretty close there. I thought he almost got in front.
Inbounding is Walker. Haynes gives it up for Walker. And the Crusaders, their first bucket of the ball game. 3:57 to go in the first. Reese, Hess, Wallace. Now Westlake, he's going to fire his shot long. Wallace had it for a moment but couldn't hang on. Out of backcourt, Haynes. He sees Friesen. Del Planche, skip pass over to Walker. Caden gets the position on Reese, and the Crusaders have within 6.
Nice little run there by St. Mary's.
Westlake. Now to Hess at the free throw line. It is Maurer. Little fadeaway. It rims off. Rebound by Haynes. Haynes from long distance. That one no good. But there with the offensive rebound is Friesen.
He called for the carry, Jim. They called him for a carry, and it's challenger ball.
Wallace coming out of the ball game. So we have Daniel Nearing making his first appearance of the night. Rugged forward, 6'3". Reese calling a play. Directing traffic. Westlake. Reese. Guard to guard exchange. Now down inside to Peyton Maurer. Reese loses his defender. His shot, though, off to the left, no good. Rebound in backcourt by Eli Haynes. We saw him play quarterback in football. Now shooting from long range. Her first attempt in the ball game, Travis Johnson.
And unfortunately, Daniel Nearing fouled him, and he's going to go to the free throw line for 3 free throws. Just can't do that.
No. Rarely, I'm trying to think of, there's rarely ever a good reason to need to foul somebody from a three-point line.
No, you don't want to ever foul a three-point shooter. So far for the Challengers, they're after that nice start, they've kind of struggled here, missing the last 4 shots that they've taken.
Johnson misses on the first, gets the second though, and it's a 5-point game. Haynes going to come out, Del Planche in. Now Hess is in the ball game as Westlake comes out.
Back to the starting group except for Daniel Nearing, who's in there for Tristan Wallace.
Third attempt, that's good. So Johnson 2 for 3 from the stripe. With 2:11 to go in the first, the Challenger lead is 4. Landon Hess, around the horn it goes. Austin Maurer, Nearing. Reese, he eyes the 3, and he gets it to go. 3 triples in the first quarter for Cody Reese. And a steal by the Challengers. Austin got a little out of control. Little conversation there between he and the Challenger backcourt. So
he threw it one way and a couple of guys went the other way. So 4th turnover in the quarter for the Challengers. Still struggling with that a little bit.
Meanwhile, a near turnover for the Crusaders, but Friesen to the rescue. Quickly up the floor, I think that's Patel in the ball game. Walker between the circles. Hamir Patel making his first appearance of the night. Nice move to the hoop. Nice teamwork. Can't get it to go, though. Austin Maurer with a rebound. Down to Cody Reese. Well, swing it around. Landon Hess. Now Nearing will fire from the baseline. His shot just a little off to the left, but Peyton Maurer climbs the golden ladder. Now to Reese. Oh, a little too much English on it. Patel with the rebound. Del Planche out of backcourt, inside a minute to go. Kick it back out. Johnson will fire from there, and a little in and out action, but the long rebound is Patel. And Austin Maurer is there. Now St. Mary's with a chance to try to get something out of this, and a rejection by Maurer. Austin Maurer out of backcourt against Del Planche. They'll feed it, and now for Austin Maurer, and he gets fouled as he goes to the hoop. And a foul called against the Crusaders.
Yeah, if they didn't call that one, I think the bench was going to lose it.
Because they may not have been the only one.
Where Austin's arm got hit like halfway up to his hand. Wasn't even, I mean, that was, wow. I was waiting and waiting and waiting for a whistle.
Yeah. I think Mr. Magoo could have seen that one. First free throw attempt by Maurer. He struggled from the free throw line on Wednesday. He was just 3 out of 9. And that's not like him.
No, it is not.
But he gets that first one. Westlake going to come into the ball game. Looks like Wallace is going to come back in too. Second attempt, that one is good. Challenger lead is 9. Wallace in the ball game along with Westlake. Nearing and Austin Maurer, as he customarily does, take a breather on the bench. Walker takes the inbound. Challengers with a little bit of pressure between Reese and Westlake, and that's a combo that's not a lot of fun to go against. Out of backcourt is Friesen. So Crusaders weather the storm there. Screened by Patel. Now to Walker. Walker, penetration. Ball tipped around. And it is the Challengers who get it. I don't know. I don't know. It looked from here like maybe the Challengers caught a break on that one.
Maybe that's the makeup call for the earlier Austin foul. I don't know. That was a weird call to me, though, too. It looked like it was off the Challengers. And
Kellen Klecker in the ball game. 11 seconds. And Klecker can shoot from distance. Hess, he's going to fire from downtown. In and out.
Good shot.
Meanwhile, the quarter ends, and after one, it's been an electric first quarter, and closer than the score indicates, but 15-6, and we'll be back after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
Choose a company that best represents you and our local community.
Choose a company that focuses on relationships rather than transactions.
Choose a company that empowers their employees and provides growth opportunities from within.
Choose a company that shows compassion and rises to the occasion in times of need.
Call a John L. Scott broker today.
This year, don't just replace your windows, renew them with beautiful and energy-efficient windows from Bill's Glass. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home or auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 50 years. Bill's Glass in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass.
An electric first quarter to begin this ball game. Challengers have that 9-point lead, but I don't think on a night like this that's going to be a safe one.
No, I don't think so. And the Challengers come out and they're 1-3-1.
Friesen with the basketball. Now it's Walker. Walker has a trio of Challenger defenders. Wallace quickly up the floor to Reese. And getting a hand on it defensively is Del Planche. He went streaking up the floor. We know about Reese's speed, but Del Planche can fly as well.
You can see that right there. He closed on Reese. Not a lot of people do that.
No, they don't. But Tyson did. Ball's tipped around. Peyton Maurer able to handle it. Hess with the three-pointer. It's good. More of that, Landon. More of that. Walker, bounce pass. Over for Haynes. Haynes. Del Planche. Now they try to work it inside for Haynes. Yeah, it looked like he might have lost it off his foot.
Kicked off his foot, yeah.
That's got to be frustrating.
And that's that 1-3-1 again. The Challengers coming through with a few turnovers here, and the Crusaders not even getting shot up, and the Challengers extending their lead.
I'll give you an opportunity to talk about that 1-3-1 and why they do it as we get the opportunity through the quarter. Austin Maurer with the miss, and the Crusaders come away with it. Long pass up the floor for Walker. Walker will have to try and save it, and there is Maurer. Maurer to Peyton Maurer. Brother to brother, And they lose the handle on it. Challengers with some turnover problems in this ball game. Meanwhile, Walker, he loses it.
More turnovers than points here in the last minute or two.
Yeah, I was going to say more turnovers than Sarah Lee. And we have a travel called against the Challengers.
And then another turnover.
18-6 ball game. We're just a minute and a half into the second quarter. 3 ball by Landon Hess, the only points here in the quarter. As both teams having struggles with the ball. Johnson, though, had a feeling that one was coming.
Yeah, nice shot by Johnson, and a good job by St. Mary's of rotating the ball to the corner and finding the open guy.
Reese with the basketball. Up top it goes. Cody calling up a play. Briley Richardson getting ready to check in at the next dead ball. Hess over in the corner. Peyton Maurer. Hess going to drive. Reese going to fire from the corner. Shot no good. Rebound comes out to Walker. Walker's wasting no time getting out of backcourt. He lays it up and in.
Where's the defense? Somebody's got to get back for the Challengers, and they don't there. And Walker's got 6 of their 11 points.
Reese. To Hess. Wallace. Spreading it around, moving it quickly. Wallace. Now you got Austin Maurer in the high post. Hess. Thought he had a look there, to be honest with you.
Bad pass by Wallace.
And that's kind of one of the areas where he struggles a little bit sometimes. Friesen with the basketball. He'll shoot from 3. He buries it.
Time to get out of that 1-3-1, if you ask me. 2 threes in a row and a big timeout now by the Challengers.
I think the Challenger Brain Trust is thinking the same thing. Timeout. We'll be back after these messages.
At 3 o'clock, Carter's campaign for class president will go live. His platform?
Thirsty for change?
Juice boxes for all. At 4, Liz will bid online and win.
Yes! Yes!
Which is why at 2, I'm down the street preparing for the storm. So no matter what, the show will go on.
Daily adventures start right here at Pinnacle 365. You'll find exactly what you need for your morning motivation. Later in the day, add some crunch to your lunch with crispy, crunchy chickens, mouth-watering chicken, and chicken tenders. Wherever your next adventure takes you, we're here to keep you energized throughout the day. And our new Peak Rewards program helps you save money on fuel so you can travel further for less. Daily adventures are better with Pinnacle 365.
Good turnout by the St. Mary's faithful tonight, and they're getting a little bit of camera time with the local news crew this evening, and you can definitely hear their presence being felt this evening. That's what you love, a kind of a real festive atmosphere. Austin Maurer falls to the floor.
Well, he didn't fall. He got shoved, but that's another issue, I guess.
Meanwhile, Wallace with it, going to go to the hole. His shot rolls around and down. It's like, hey, you're going to give that to me? I'll take it.
That's right.
Meanwhile, Johnson now to Foster, who's back in the ball game. Walker going to shoot from range. That shot off target. Running it down. Good hustle by Foster. Briley Richardson back there with him. And they'll call the Challenger freshman for the foul. Daniel Nearing and checking into the ball game. Tristan Wallace will come out. Tristan with 4 in the game, and typically he averages about 3, so making a contribution. Foster driving, going to kick it back out. It is taken by Reese. There's a slap in the backcourt that doesn't get called. Reese going to go hard to the hole. 2. Foster now for Haynes. Haynes against Richardson. And, yeah, too much contact there by Briley, and they're going to call him for the foul. Brian Morrison, in his own low-key, understated way, seeing that one differently.
Well, you can't bang into a guy and then call the foul on the guy you're banging into. That's what Coach Morris is pointing out. Who's initiating the contact, right?
Right.
And in that case, it was completely Eli Haynes initiating all the contact.
And we have a travel called against Del Planche as he was making his way into the paint.
Right now, both teams with a lot of turnovers here in the first half, and neither one looking very, doing a great job of taking care of the basketball. The Challengers with 8 turnovers. The Crusaders have 11 here in the first half.
Peyton Maurer, Hess, who's now at the 1. Swinging around, Richardson. Now over, and Maurer will shoot. His shot just a little bit long. And we have a whistle and a foul called against St. Mary's, much to the chagrin of Eli Haynes.
Well, what's interesting is you don't see a lot of complaining, so you know he was pushing Austin in the back.
Briley Richardson out of the ball game. Cody Reese back in. Tristan Wallace also back for the Challengers. And a technical foul called against the Crusaders. I didn't see a whole lot there, but...
Well, was it on the bench or was it on one of the players?
That's an interesting one. I didn't really see... I know what gesticulations will get you in trouble, and I didn't really see that, but apparently somebody said something, and it was enough, and Reese 1 for 2 on his opportunities there. He was 12 for 16 from the charity stripe on Wednesday night, making a living there as he led the Challenger charge with 26.
Yep, and but he was attacking the rim all night, and South Umpqua running a man defense against him, and it was just an interesting opportunity for him to attack.
And Coach, he's gone.
He just got thrown out.
Yep. And again, in his defense, I'm not saying much other than it didn't look like he got that crazy about it.
Well, there was a bench technical, I think must have been the first one.
Yeah.
And you can't stand up again. You're at that point you're seatbelted to your chair. So if you stand up and walk out of your bench area, that is an automatic technical. And I'm sure that's exactly what happened.
So apparently if he's sitting down, the first one must have been a bench.
He's gone. He's gone. He has to leave.
Oh boy. Well, he's out now.
So Cody makes 1 of 2 again.
Challengers have had some struggles from the free throw line of late after a hot start this year. They were 20 for 35 against South Umpqua on Wednesday, and then they were just 7 of 13 against Douglas. Reese eyes the 3. It rims out. They're trying to fight for the rebound, and Peyton Maurer couldn't hold on.
Challengers have done a good job of building this lead back up to 10 after St. Mary's cut into it considerably there at the beginning of the second quarter.
Meanwhile, Walker with the basketball. Challengers on defense. Call against Cascade.
That's going to go on Reese.
That'll be just his first personal foul.
Well, and if you remember, this battle from last year was very similar. Walker and Reese last year as well.
Well, there is, unlike many of the teams that we see, there's a lot of speed from a lot of sources on this Crusader roster.
Yeah, there absolutely is.
Walker free throw attempt. That one is good. Now a 9-point game at 24-15. Second attempt on its way. That one just a little bit short, and there is Austin Maurer for the rebound. Reese, around the horn it goes. Austin Maurer. Skip pass over to Hess. Reese, they try to fire it inside, broken up. Good defensive play by Foster. Foster outlets, up the floor it goes to Walker, but he's going to have to bring it out. Challengers good in their transition defense.
Oh, especially Austin Maurer got back quickly on that one.
And they're going to call Cody for a reach, and I thought that was a little ticky-tack.
Now they're going to call that on, actually, I think on Landon Hess, luckily for Cody. We don't need to have Cody in foul trouble. But the problem is right now that the Challengers are in the bonus. The Crusaders are in the bonus. The Challengers have committed 8 fouls. And so every time it's a foul, it's a 1-on-1 now. And that's one way for the Crusaders to get back in this one, is to knock down some free throws.
Del Planch, good on the first one. Well, let's face it, on Wednesday, that was the victory for the Challengers with 35 attempts in that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, if you convert them,
can be very helpful.
Yes. Landon Hess, Austin Maurer, his jumper long, and he's not been quite Austin Maurer-like in the last few games from downtown.
Well, that one was a couple of feet behind the three-point line, and he's only taken 3 shots so far, Jim. He's 1 for 3.
Well, you have to say one thing to the credit of the Crusaders is they've got the Challengers out of sorts.
They're kind of taking Austin away, and that's what this zone does. And it makes you shoot from outside.
Challengers exercising some patience.
But the thing about it is you get to the second half, and if the Challengers continue to lead, what do you do?
Right.
Because you can't stay in it forever if the Challengers keep the lead.
Wallace dumps it inside for his cousin, and there's Maurer.
Nice patience that time by the Challengers, and a good pass from Austin into Austin.
That would be a sequence.
Tristan into Austin, excuse me.
Yeah. One of the things I would like to do is capture that sequence and show it to my young players, just the value of patience and not just forcing things up. 10-point ball game. Walker trying to make a move, and Austin Maurer with the rejection. It'll go out of bounds, however. Meanwhile, Coach Brian Morris, a little conversation there with his players.
Putting Briley Richardson back in the game for Peyton Maurer.
Didn't have a clue who he was a couple of weeks ago, and now becoming a night-in, night-out staple off the Challenger bench. Pulling up from the free throw line, Friesen, but Del Planch is there. He has definitely been Mr. Hustle tonight for the Crusaders.
And they're going to give him a timeout, looks like, before the jump ball.
Timeout called on the floor. We'll go ahead and keep it right here. Today's game is brought to you in part by Avista Utilities and our friends from My Circle K, powered by GP Energy. Morning motivation, crunch in your lunch, and fuel for your road trip begins with My Circle K. Coming up, our halftime report will be brought to you by the Bedford Parks and Recreation Department. The Winter Recreation Guide is out with sports leagues and activities. To sign up now, visit playbedford.com or call 774-2400 for more. The Crusaders come out with Eli Haynes, Tyson Del Planch, Caden Walker, Jaden Foster, and Noah Friesen. Challengers out with Reese, Richardson, Wallace, Hess, and Austin Maurer. Inbound, Haynes feeds it to Foster. Foster kicks it out. Del Planch will shoot it. Just a little bit long. And looks like we may have Tristan Wallace called for a push in the back.
Oh, boy. And again, Crusaders in the bonus.
And that will send Eli Haynes to the free throw line. Crusaders with opportunity here. First free throw attempt. Catches the back iron and goes down. Haynes, second attempt coming up. And that one's good. 8-point ball game with 49 seconds left to go in the half. Hess going to shoot. Shot a little bit short. Haynes pushing the pace. Up the floor. It's good. Haynes with the hoop and the harm.
Wow.
And now it's a 6-point game. Coach Brian Morris having a little conversation with the official. Free throw attempt, no good. .23 seconds left to go in the half. 26-20 ball game. Reese calls a play, penetrates, goes to the hole, he scores.
Love to see Cody elevate like that. Nice little pick there by Tristan Wallace to give him a little crease, and he's able to elevate over just about everybody and get that to go in and get fouled.
You know, and the foul's going to be called against the Crusaders and Foster. That's his first. I was talking to him the other day about that run out on Wednesday night that I was so impressed with. He told me he had considered trying to dunk it, but he recalls another young man in our program that that injured himself trying to dunk last year, 2 years ago. And, okay.
Well, the rumblings are about St. Mary's coach is over behind the curtain, and he's got to leave the building.
And it looked like Jamie Young over there, the athletic director, being called upon to address that. Kind of reminds me of the time when Bobby Valentine was managing. He got thrown out of the game, and he came back wearing a mustache and glasses. That didn't quite work either. All right, it's halftime, and as one would expect, it has been some kind of ball game. Right now, the Challengers lead the Crusaders by 9, 29-20. We will take a timeout, and when we return, we'll bring you the Medford Parks and Recreation halftime show right here on TableRockSports.net.
Let me take just a moment and ask you about your vision for your children. What are you seeking for them? What are you hoping your son or your daughter will grow up to be? Highly skilled teaching, a thorough curriculum, art, music, science, athletics, encouraging relationships, all of these and more are part of the community at Grace Cascade Christian Schools, where all of our children feel that they belong.
Being able to mentor them on the football field, to push them in the classroom, and ultimately, most importantly, is to share Christ with them.
Gather and memories are made. Tap Rock Northwest Grill.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
Sherm's Thunderbird Market has been serving Southern Oregon for over 50 years. We are thankful and proud to be able to say that our employees are like family, and we certainly couldn't serve Southern Oregon so well without them.
I love my job, and what better place to work than for the people who care about you and your community.
We really are treated more like family rather than just employees.
Our loyal customers make my job fun and more enjoyable.
Sherm's is now hiring. Go to our website to see what positions are available.
You're a coach or plan to be a coach. What kind of coach do you want to be? This?
Hey! What is that? Come on, guy!
You're killing me!
Or this.
I love it. I love what I see. I don't care about the mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Guys making millions of dollars on Sunday, they make mistakes.
Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.org.
There's a time machine, not so far away, that takes you back to a world just a few streets wide, where wonder rules the day and families are transformed, from the smallest bug-eyed explorer to that surliest know-it-all. So dive into the past and let them see the world through a simpler lens called Southern Oregon. Their adventure begins when you travel Medford.
Back here at the Cascade Christian Pavilion, welcome to our Medford Parks and Rec halftime report. Little Hoopsters beginning basketball programs have winter and spring sessions coming up. Visit playmedford.com to get your Little Hoopster in the game. And Mark, I don't know. This is probably another one of those first halves where the predictable superlatives fail. That this is just wild doesn't even begin to describe it.
Well, and you got to realize that when these two teams play, it's one thing you can count on is the unexpected, right? We saw a coach thrown out in the first half, getting 2 technicals. We saw Austin Maurer with only 6 points in the first half. We saw Cody Reese have 16 points in the first half. None of those things we would have expected before the game started, but the Challengers have done a great job of adapting to what the defense that the Crusaders have been playing. And to their credit, shooting the ball pretty well. Cascade Christian 10 for 21 in that first half. That's 48%.
Better than I would have expected.
Nothing wrong with that. It's been the turnovers that have killed them. They had 9 turnovers in that first half. St. Mary's helped them out by having 11, however. So there's been 20 turnovers in this half, and that's half as many. It's as many points as St. Mary's has in that first half. Turnovers between the two teams, but and so from that standpoint, I'm sure both coaches are a little bit frustrated with what was going on there. So those are the things that you want to work on. St. Mary's shooting in that first half, 6 for 21, just 29%. So and that that tells a lot about the score of the game. The Challengers leading by 9. However, the Crusaders pretty good job at the free throw line, 6 for 10, and the Cascade Christian 5 for 7. And remember, 4 of those free throws came on the 2 technicals. So the Challengers really, only shot 3 free throws in that first half to 10 for the Crusaders. So we'll see how that plays out in the second half. However, most teams that do play zone defense, like you see, the Crusaders playing in this first half, typically will foul less in a zone than you will in a good, solid, hard man-to-man. So some of that's a little bit understandable. But other than that, it's, been a fairly, I would say, physical game by both teams. Mm-hmm. Scoring first for St. Mary's in that first half, Noah Friesen had 3. Caden Walker had 7. Eli Haynes with 4. DePlanche has 1, and Travis Johnson with 5. For the Cascade Christian Challengers, I mentioned Cody Reese had 16 in that first half. Tristan Wallace had 4. Landon Hess with a 3. And Austin Maurer had 6. So both teams getting, 4 or 5 guys in the scoring column. But other than Cody Reese, that 16 points, pretty even scoring for everybody else.
Well, I'm sure that for a lot of critics it would be easy to sit back if you don't know the team very well to say, well, if they didn't have that 6'11 guy, there wouldn't be anything. And granted, he's a huge part of what the Challengers do. But what we see tonight, and we've seen a couple other games this year, where if other teams have tried to do things to negate the effect of Austin Maurer, that a guy like Cody Reese can step up and give you some valuable minutes and some valuable leadership and some offense. Once again, we saw on that drive to the hoop that he can really go up and get it. Three-point shooting, historically not a strength for him. He's worked at it, but tonight now he's got it dialed in somewhat, and
he's
been able to help.
He's 5 for 9 altogether, and I believe he's 3 for 3 for 6 from 3. So he'll take that any night, shoot 50% from 3.
Right. So here we sit with a 9-point margin at halftime. Halftime is brought to you by PlayMedford.com, where classes and activities for the entire family are available. Registration for winter and spring are happening now. Sign up at PlayMedford.com or call the Santos Center at 774-2400. We'll take one final timeout, and when we return, we'll give you the beginning of the second half. Our score at halftime: the Cascade Christian Challengers 29, the St. Mary's Crusaders 20. We'll be back in just moments with more.
See it on national TV all the time. They tell us that funerals can average between 7,000 and 10,000. Be there.
The Start Something New sales event is going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course, Ram trucks. Choose from our great selection of new Jeep Grand Cherokee L 4x4s. Test drive a new Ram 1500 and see why Ram is Motor Trend's back-to-back-to-back 3-peat Truck of the Year. And remember, we've added the convenience of test drives from your home and an online process to purchase and deliver your new vehicle. Get a Start Something New deal on every new vehicle in stock, only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
As we get ready for the start of the second half, we're grateful for the partnership with Table Rock Sports, but we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge those who support Challenger Athletics. Presenting sponsor is George Fox University, some of the platinum sponsors: Metal Masters Heating and Air, Mahar Homes, The Dove, Wilson Equipment, Hart Insurance, Cross Country Mortgage, Shady Cove Family Dentistry, John and Penny Esser, D.A. Davidson, Hutchins Wealth Management, Evergreen Federal Bank, Rise Volleyball Club, Kelly Connect, Airport Chevrolet, Dialed Laser Concepts, and A-Plus Pools. And a whole lot more.
Yeah.
But, Mark, here's second half. It's going to, it'll be interesting to see what, if anything, they can do to maybe free up Austin Maurer for a little bit more production.
See what happens in the second half. But I tell you what, he has had a huge impact on the game on the defensive end. I think he's got 5 or 6 blocks in that first half. So you can have effects in lots of different ways playing basketball. And Austin definitely does it on both ends.
Well, and that's been the thing this year. The points surrendered by the Challengers has been a little bit higher than it's been in years past, but make no mistake about it that when you have a guy like him for a rim protector, it alters, it changes the way an opposing offense does its job.
Oh, absolutely.
Challengers will begin the third quarter with the basketball. Peyton Maurer with the inbound. He's in there with Reese, his brother Austin Maurer, Tristan Wallace, and Landon Hess. Austin now for Hess. Swinging around for Reese. Hess had a momentary look there, but Haynes is there with the defense. Well, swinging around right side. Maurer's going to fire from downtown, and he buries it. And to be fair to the Crusaders, what are you going to do?
Well, and they did a good job that time of moving Austin and moving the ball.
So the Challenger Bulge is 12 now with Tyson Del Planche. Walker with it. Momentarily loses the handle, regroups, and now Foster against Maurer. He's going to try to drive, and now Walker's going to shoot. And he gets the 3.
He's got 10 now for the Crusaders.
9-point ball game. And now Hess going to kick it out. Peyton Maurer. And right there, Hess couldn't get it to go. Reese going to try from 3. That one rims off. Ball's tipped around. And I suspect a call against the Challengers. Daniel Nearing into the ball game. As Austin Maurer comes out, looks like he's experiencing a little discomfort with his ankle. Del Planche driving against Peyton Maurer. And now it's Foster going to go hard to the hole. He shot, no good. Ball's tipped around, and now Walker gets it. His shot just a little bit short. Reese climbs the golden ladder for the carom. Cody Reese out of backcourt, picked up by Del Planche. Hess. Wallace drives to the hole. Not a thing of beauty, but he'll earn a trip to the free throw line.
Yeah, I like how he's been a little bit more aggressive than we've seen him attacking the rim tonight. He's already got 4 points in this one, and he's 2 for 2 from the field, so this will be an opportunity from the free throw line.
9-point game with 6:11 to go in the third. Wallace, free throw attempt is good. 10-point game now. The football running back, linebacker, baseball catcher, and first baseman, and kind of all-around hard hat guy for the basketball team. Del Planche fires from downtown. His shot no good. Gets knocked to the floor, no call. Walker. Now Friesen gets an open look. It rims off, and Reese gets the rebound. Reese out of backcourt. Del Planche there with them. Hess. Wallace, inside it goes to Nearing. Nice play.
Good ball movement that time by the challengers, and Daniel taking up some space and getting a bucket.
Austin Maurer getting ready to come back in along with Briley Richardson. Friesen with the basketball up top. Pestered by Hess. Now Haynes going to go inside. Out for Foster. Foster moves his shot in and out. Wallace with the rip and clear. Challengers have the ball now with a 12-point lead. Peyton. Nearing. Around the horn it goes. High post to Nearing. Reese gets an open look, and Reese knows what to do as he cans his 4th triple of the ball game. Without a doubt, a career high for him in a game from three-point range. 15-point lead. Now Haynes with the answer. 12-point ball game and a timeout called on the floor. We'll break away for messages, and we'll be back with more right here on TableRockSports.net.
Game day or a family get-together. Sherm's has the quality products and prices that will make you cheer. Sherm's Thunderbird Market, Medford's original discount grocery store.
Fuel your daily adventure at My Circle K. Whether it's some Monday motivation to kickstart your day, adding some crunch to your lunch, or fueling up for a road trip, your journey begins with My Circle K, powered by GP Energy.
Always be there.
You don't even have to be a big sports fan to appreciate what you get down here at the Cascade Christian Pavilion. Some of the music we get during the timeouts is just worth the price of admission in itself.
Yeah, Russell Brown on the DJ hot list down there.
Indeed. 4:24 to go in the third. Challengers up by 12. Feed it inside for Peyton Maurer. Loses the handle momentarily, but gets it back. Reese going to penetrate. Kicks it out. Richards is going to fire from 3. He knocks it down.
Gets his opportunity and makes a three. Love to see it.
Young player for Cascade, and now we have a little bit of contact.
Is that going to go on Briley? I think it is.
Foul called against Briley Richardson.
Getting his money's worth. That's his third. Got to figure out these officials at the higher level. He's used to that lower, the JV level, and a little bit different officiating up here.
Dylan Westlake, the Bulldog, into the ball game. Johnson with the basketball, and it goes out of bounds. Challenger basketball, they're up by 15 here. Patel will check into the ball game.
Well, and if you remember right, on Wednesday, the Challengers with a good job in the third quarter of kind of pulling away. We're seeing that here a little bit with the Challengers as well in this third quarter.
Reese out of backcourt. Swings it for Westlake. Now they work it low. Austin Maurer, shot no good there. Offensive rebound by Peyton. Reese tries to fire from downtown, and that won't go. I think I would have liked to see Peyton put that up there when he got that one.
Yeah, I agree.
Meanwhile, Westlake fighting through that Patel screen. Walker with it. That's been a good, fun matchup to watch. Shot missed. Nearing. Hustles for that rebound. Outlets for Reese. Austin Maurer, little Euro step. He can't get it to go. Gets his own rebound, and that's good. Not much you can do about that.
Yeah, when you can take 2 steps from the three-point line and end up at the rim.
Eli Haynes, guarded by Peyton Maurer. Now it's Friesen. He'll shoot, and he'll score. You don't want to sleep on him.
No, Dylan actually did a pretty good job. That was a tough shot, but he knocked it down. Give him credit.
15-point game with 2:28 to go in the third. Austin Maurer against Patel. Now back up top it goes for Reese. Peyton. Now Austin Maurer faces from the baseline. Ball tipped around. Nearing trying to do everything to get his hand on it and can't. Crusaders take it out of backcourt. 15-point ball game, and the drive to the hoop by Haynes. No good.
See, that's the kind of foul call I hate, and because you're in. If you watch that play, who created all the contact? The offensive player created all the contact. So to me, that's either a no call or it's a offensive foul. I don't see that as a defensive foul unless you come down with your hands. If you're playing straight up and down, if you watch the upper levels of basketball, those fouls don't get called.
No, they don't. And let me see here. Looks like Cody Reese, cleaning services, on for duty. Challenger lineup right now. Reese along in there with Westlake, Wallace, Austin Maurer, and Hess. Haynes at the free throw line along with Johnson, Patel. Friesen first free throw attempt. It touched everything it could touch, and then it fell. Second attempt. That one a little less dramatic, and now it's a 13-point ball game. Hess at the point. Now to Westlake, who loses the handle on it. Haynes out of backcourt. And now it is Haynes.
Haynes is warming up.
43-33, 1:35 to go in the quarter.
And just like that, it's a 10-point game.
Austin Maurer feeds it inside for Wallace. He'll kick it out. Reese will fire from three-point range. He shot in and out. He got robbed.
He did. That was halfway down and still popped out.
Haynes. Walker. It's good. It's a 7-point ball game, and Coach Morris has seen enough of that.
Well, the Challengers aren't matched up. I don't know what's going on there.
So they're going to sort this out during the break. We will take one as well, and we'll be back here at TableRockSports.net.
Life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it. It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Back here at the Cascade Christian Pavilion, St. Mary's with a rally here in the third quarter. And what was a 15-point ball game is now down to 7.
Well, after scoring just 6 points in the first quarter, 14 in the second, they have 16 points here in the quarter. That's not like the Challenger defense to give up 16 points in a quarter. And so Crusaders back in it. And just some defensive lapses there. Nobody seemed to know who they were guarding on defense. And well, you just can't do that.
Seems like it's a hallmark of a young team.
Yeah.
That you just, and certainly that is what they've got out there this evening. And Richardson now back in the ball game. And Challengers going to try to stem the tide here. Richardson, now kick it out for Reese. Reese going to drive, elevates. His shot no good, but he's fouled. He'll go to the free throw line. Well, I think that's your secret sauce right there.
Anytime you can get Reese attacking downhill, you got to like that.
And then if you have Austin Maurer somewhere in the vicinity. Free throw attempt, that one a little bit long. Still a 7-point ball game at 43-36.
Got to make your free throws, too, if you're the Challengers.
Yep.
Going to probably shoot a few of them down the stretch here.
And he gets the second. Peyton Maurer into the ball game. Tristan Wallace will come out with 56 seconds to go in the third. 8-point ball game. Was 15 at one point. Patel out of backcourt. Now for Haynes. Haynes trying to shake loose of Reese, and he's called for the travel. You see a little bit of a smile there, a smile of mischief from Cody Reese. I got him.
Yep, absolutely. Nobody likes to be guarded by Cody, I can tell you that.
No, I wouldn't. Richardson, nothing but air. 25 seconds to go in the quarter. 8-point ball game. Del Planche all by himself, but he can't hit.
Again, why do the Challengers not know who they're guarding, leaving a guy wide open?
Meanwhile, Reese, that's tipped away by Del Planche. He claps his hands together in frustration. Wallace back in the ball game. Richardson will come out. Reese finds Hess. And we have a whistle underneath the Challenger basket.
And I think that's on Eli Haynes grabbing Austin Maurer.
So that'll be his third foul of the ball game. Each of the contestants with 3 team fouls in the second half. Reese to Maurer. He'll fire from downtown. His shot just a little bit long. 6 seconds to go. Del Planche out of backcourt. He'll try to shoot it, and he knocks it down. And that will end the third quarter of play. So St. Mary's hanging tough in the ball game. It's 44-38. We'll be back after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
See it on national TV all the time. They tell us that funerals can average between 7,000 and
The Start Something New sales event is going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course, Ram trucks. Choose from our great selection of new Jeep Grand Cherokee L 4x4s. Test drive a new Ram 1500 and see why Ram is Motor Trend's back-to-back-to-back 3P Truck of the Year. And remember, we've added the convenience of test drives from your home and an online process to purchase and deliver your new vehicle. Get a Start Something New deal on every new vehicle in stock, only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
Fourth quarter, do or die time. Challengers and the Crusaders, crosstown rivals.
Crusaders get the ball first with an opportunity to cut this to 4. And I'll tell you what, the Challengers have struggled here at the end of the third quarter after taking a pretty good-sized lead at the first part of the third quarter. So a big run there by St. Mary's, and the Challengers in the 1-3-1.
Well, I think a part of it really with the Crusaders, it's almost really like they've got a 5-guard offense. And they've got guys who knock it down from the perimeter, and they don't see a whole lot of that. Del Planche gets caught in an awkward spot, but finds it up top for Friesen. Now Johnson going to drive, fires his shot, and it misses. Austin Maurer there. Cody Reese going to drive the baseline hard, and they'll say it was last touch by the Crusaders. Reese inbounding for Peyton Maurer. His shot flat, no good. Foster with a rebound. Friesen with the basketball. And losing the handle on his Patel. Foster, but he stepped over the line, they say, as he tried to save it.
So a couple of turnovers by St. Mary's, but Challengers yet to get a bucket off those. Let's see if they can pick up one here.
Peyton Maurer. Around the horn it goes to Reese. Skip pass. Austin Maurer there. He makes a move. Can't believe a foul's not called. Hess. Timeout called by Cascade Christian. 6:47 to go in the ball game, and what do you think of the discussion over on that Challenger bench is right now?
Well, part of it is about the mugging that Austin's taking without any fouls being called. So I'm just surprised that that continues to happen. That last shot, for example, the reason he's limping a little bit is because people are moving underneath him, and that should be a foul. And I'm just not seeing tonight the referees doing much work underneath the rim to protect Austin down there, as he's there's 2 or 3 guys around him all the time pushing, shoving. They have called one hold so far, but if you watch that closely, you'll see that there's a lot going on down there.
Out of the timeout, the Challengers come with Peyton Maurer. Daniel Nearing is in the ball game. Austin Maurer. I'm sure out briefly. It looks like.
And the Challengers really need a bucket here. They haven't had one for a while.
Peyton Maurer. Around the horn it goes to Cody Reese. And an entry pass intended for Nearing. Broken up, and they say it was last touch by the Challengers. Assistant coach Ryan McLemore expressing disagreement there.
Well, it was, a lot. Not just that. It was also Coach Morse.
Yes. Meanwhile, Walker with it, gonna shoot, but it's blocked by Hess. Meanwhile, fighting for it over in the corner. Del Planche. Del Planche now making a move to the hoop. Foster. Crusaders trying to get something going here. And meanwhile, Johnson going to shoot it. That one off target. Reese out of backcourt. Cody Reese now for Hess. Feeds it for Nearing. Back up top to Peyton Maurer. Reese going to fire from 3. It's good.
Well, Cody is saving their bacon tonight, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Meanwhile, Johnson is shot a little bit long. It's tipped around. There's Walker, and he lays it up and in. St. Mary's capitalizing on the carom here to draw within 7 with 5:16 to go. Skip pass over to Peyton Maurer. Around the horn to Hess. Peyton. Skip pass for Reese. He'll fire from 3 again. This one a little bit short. Peyton Maurer with the rebound. How can they not call that? Unbelievable. 47-40. Crusader ball. Walker with it.
Still in the key.
And Foster knocks it down. It's a 5-point game. Briley Richards getting ready to check it back into the ball game. Looks like we got Haynes and I believe Friesen getting ready to check back in.
Full timeout, Cascade.
All right, timeout called on the floor. We'll take one as well. We'll be back after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
Workers' comp claim was denied. Or was it accepted? Now what are you supposed to do? Find out for free. Call Schlesinger and de Villeneuve immediately and let us fight for you.
The Start Something New sales event is going on now at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course, Ram trucks. Choose from our great selection of new Jeep Grand Cherokee L 4x4s. Test drive a new Ram 1500 and see why Ram is Motor Trend's back-to-back-to-back 3P Truck of the Year. And remember, we've added the convenience of test drives from your home and an online process to purchase and deliver your new vehicle. Get a Start Something New deal on every new vehicle in stock, only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
Waiting, even a few days, to report a work injury or illness could cost you everything. But how do you know what you should do? Find out for free. Call Schlesinger and de Villeneuve immediately and let us fight for you.
47-42, fourth quarter action between the Crusaders and the Challengers. It's been a tussle with a lot of muscle. Briley Richardson into the ball game. And again, I can't believe what I'm speechless. Wallace, his shot a little bit long. Peyton Maurer with it. Bounce pass out to Richardson. Around the horn it goes to Reese. And they'll set things up. Wallace against Patel. Richardson got a drive, has it stripped away. No foul called. But nearing there with the block. .329 left to go in the ball game. Challenger lead is 5 points. Wallace in the corner. Reese.
St. Mary's finally came out of their zone.
Wallace. Peyton Maurer. Now Richardson going to shoot. He knocks it down. He's very early in his varsity career, but he's already come up with a huge make.
Yes, he has.
Meanwhile, Friesen to Haynes. Patel going to shoot. Foster there for the offensive rebound. And it looks like it's going to be Crusader basketball. Richardson. Now Wallace going to come out. And now Austin Maurer coming in. Looks like he's got some kind of brace on his ankle. Nearing comes out. 2:41 left to go in the ball game.
Nice job by Daniel Nearing coming down with that big block for the Challengers.
I don't think you could stick a phone book between his feet and the floor when he jumps, but good timing there and just a good sense, good heads-up play. And now a steal by Reese. Reese, 2-on-3 as he drives to the hole. And now going the other way, St. Mary's. Ball's loose on the floor. Friesen has it, kicks it out for Walker. Big shot here. I don't believe it. Wow. 50-45. Richardson, bounce pass. Reese. Hess. Now it goes down the low block for Peyton Maurer. Briley Richardson. Up top it goes. No foul called. Again. And a timeout called by the Challengers.
No. Foul.
Okay. And, of course, foul on the floor. There's fouls to give. That against Walker, his second personal of the ball game. Tristan Wallace into the ball game. Now Richardson's going to come out. That'll give some beef around the basket. Reese out of backcourt to Peyton Maurer. Reese. And it's taken away by Walker. And swatted out of bounds by Reese.
Yeah, I don't like the playing and hold the ball thing. It's just too hard to do for more than 30 or 40 seconds, if you know what I mean.
It's dangerous.
And then they turn the ball over.
It's like those really long drives in football. The more you do, the more chance there is you're going to turn it over. Inside 50 seconds to go. Haynes with it against Wallace. He's going to drive, and he misses the shot. Austin Maurer there with the rebound. Reese and Austin Maurer. And a foul committed by Noah Friesen. And that'll be the 15th foul of the Crusaders, the Challengers with just 3. Caden Walker. And he commits the foul against Reese. Of course, they're not going to count that. But it's been that kind of night for Cody. And now Hess will take care of the inbound. Cody Reese. 32 seconds to go. They'll feed it over for Wallace. And a foul called against the Crusaders.
Well, it isn't going to be pretty, but it looks like if the Challengers can make some free throws here, they can come out of this with a win.
Yes, 27 seconds to go.
It's 1-1, though. Important to make the first free throw.
Tristan Wallace at the free throw line. He's come up with a couple of big baskets tonight. Free throw attempt off, but Reese is there with the offensive rebound. Up top it goes to Wallace. Now for Hess. Oh, for Austin Maurer. And they end up a little push there by Caden Walker.
Nice rebound by Cody Reese there. A big rebound by Cody Reese.
Well, there again, that's where you see his leaping ability coming into play there. And now Austin Maurer with an opportunity at the free throw line. Free throw attempt is good. 6-point ball game. Seems like forever since the last time I called a point for either team. Second attempt, that one's good. So a 7-point ball game with 17.6 to go. And really an uphill battle for the Crusaders, but, well, crazier things have happened.
Oh, absolutely. And this game has had everything in it, as you mentioned. That one three-pointer that the Crusaders made a few minutes ago with a high bounce off the rim, rolled around. I thought for sure it wasn't going to go in.
Right.
And somehow it went in. So it's been one of those nights for the Crusaders for sure, staying in this one. And the Challengers have had their struggles, especially defensively. I feel like we're not seeing the best of the Challenger defense like we've seen on a few other nights this season.
Well, I'm sure in some small part it has to do with their rotation's a little bit
different,
unsettled right now.
Well, and Cannon Anderson's a very good defender too. You can't forget about that.
Right. And then you got some of these younger guys. It's like you say, you mentioned Briley Richardson with some of the foul calls against him. That there's an adjustment. You wouldn't think it's a huge leap from JV to varsity, but there is.
There really is.
But these are the games. These are the opportunities you get to kind of work that stuff out. Now, I'm looking at this Crusader team. And there's not necessarily any one guy you can just focus on. All these guys can be dangerous. Walker with the basketball against Reese. Now he'll work it over for Del Plant. She's going to drive hard to the hole and shoot, and he connects. Now with 5.7. This goes in the realm of the highly unlikely.
Well, it was a nice job by the Challengers to make them use some clock, and really that shot by Del Planche was a tough shot. He somehow got it to go down, but good defense on that series and made him use 12 seconds off the clock.
Well, one of the things in terms of credit to the Crusaders, I don't know that anybody necessarily. It would have been easy for a casual observer just to say, well, this should be
not much
an easy
of a game.
Cascade win, but it has not been that.
Well, and I still feel like we haven't seen the Challengers on all cylinders yet. We got to figure that out, especially from an offensive standpoint. Because zone, that other people are going to realize that the way to play Austin is play a zone and double him every time he gets the ball. That's not going to be a surprise going forward, I don't think.
No.
And so the Challengers are going to have to make some adjustments and figure out ways to get him involved even when the other team is playing zones, or maybe hide him in the corner somewhere so you can take advantage of the other side of the floor, and then have him come and rebound. So they'll work on that. They'll come up with some different schemes here. And these guys that you mentioned that haven't been playing a lot will get an opportunity to play more, for sure.
Austin Maurer quickly up the floor. It goes to Reese. Reese now over for Richardson. And time runs out, and the Challengers escape. Your final score, the Cascade Christian Challengers 52 and the St. Mary's Crusaders 47. You expect a big battle between the two teams, and this one was just right up there in the mix. Definitely for the Crusaders, they discovered they could run with the big dogs, and for the Challengers, a lot they can learn from that as well. We will pause for messages, and when we return, we'll bring you our post-game wrap-up, or we'll take a look at some stats from the game and discuss that, and then we'll wrap up the broadcast. We'll be back with more right after this on TableRockSports.net.
Let me take just a moment and ask you about your vision for your children. What are you seeking for them? What are you hoping your son or your daughter will grow up to be? Highly skilled teaching, a thorough curriculum, art, music, science, athletics, encouraging relationships, all of these and more are part of the community at Grace Cascade Christian Schools, where all of our children feel that they belong.
Being able to mentor them on the football field, to push them in the classroom, And ultimately, most importantly, is to share Christ with them.
You're a coach or plan to be a coach. What kind of coach do you want to be? This?
Hey! What is that? Come on, Goliath! You're killing me!
Or this?
I love it. I love what I see. I don't care about the mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Guys making millions of dollars on Sunday, they make mistakes.
Know your role. Learn more at southernoregonsports.org.
There's a time machine, not so far away, that takes you back to a world just a few streets wide, where wonder rules the day and families are transformed, from the smallest bug-eyed explorer to that surliest know-it-all. So dive into the past and let them see the world through a simpler lens called Southern Oregon. Their adventure begins when you travel Medford.
At 3 o'clock, Carter's campaign for class president will go live. His platform?
Thirsty for change?
Juice boxes for all. At 4, Liz will bid online and win. Yes! Yes! Which is why at 2, I'm down the street preparing for the storm. So no matter what, the show will go on.
Daily adventures start right here at Pinnacle 365. You'll find exactly what you need for your morning motivation. Later in the day, add some crunch to your lunch with crispy, crunchy chickens, mouth-watering chicken, and chicken tenders. Wherever your next adventure takes you, we're here to keep you energized throughout the day. And our new Peak Rewards program helps you save money on fuel so you can travel further for less. Daily adventures are better with Pinnacle 365.
We're putting the wraps on tonight's broadcast for the Cascade Christian Challengers and another one of those big battles between Cascade and the St. Mary's Crusaders. Once again, this matchup did not disappoint in terms of having a game that was continually competitive from the beginning to the end. Just thinking in the third quarter, it looked like the Challengers might just pull away in this as they led by 15 about midway through the third. But the Crusaders capitalized maybe on some defensive lapses by Cascade Christian, and they fought their way back into this ball game. And even with their coach out of the building after getting tossed in the first quarter, They fought their way back, made a real game out of it, and Cascade hung on at the end for a win. And again, I think the operative word for Cascade Christian might be escape for tonight.
Well, I think you're right. I think the Challengers came into this game, and you mentioned it, still a little unsettled with the loss of Cannon Anderson at the Douglas game, and kind of saw some lapses certainly on the defensive end that allowed St. Mary's to get back in the game in the second half. But the Challengers do, manage to hang on for a win and so far remain undefeated in the first half of the league play, with just Sutherland left on the schedule to make it through the first half, which they have next Wednesday. So next Wednesday will be the end of the first half of the league schedule, and so far the Challengers are squeaking their way through, I guess would be an appropriate term, undefeated. And again tonight, just not the performance I think that was expected by the coaches for sure of the Challengers, but one of those deals where it's still a win at the end of the day. And I think again, give credit to St. Mary's on their zone defense that really put a damper on Austin Maurer tonight, and he was not able to really get going. I mean, he still ended up in double figures in scoring, as we'll see here in a minute, but certainly not the kind of night he's been having against some of the other teams in the league. So nice job by St. Mary's of clamping down on that zone and really forcing other people to beat them. And it's good news for the Challengers that even in spite of that, the other people were able to beat them tonight. And I think one of the big contributors was Briley Richardson coming in off the bench and knocking down a couple of threes. I mean, that 6 points was definitely needed in this game tonight as the Challengers just win by 5. So a good job by him of going 2 for 3 from 3 in this game and really helping them out. And also Cody Reese obviously had a stellar game again tonight, following up the game he had on Wednesday. So love to see the momentum he's building with his game as well. Not just being a guy who can drive the lane, but also can knock down some threes. And I said, like I said before, give credit to Caden Walker tonight. Cody guarding him most of the night. He's still able to come up with a real good scoring night. He did have a few turnovers that I'm sure he didn't appreciate, but he knocked down a bunch of shots for the Crusaders tonight as well. So looking at the stats for the night, the Challengers end up shooting 17 for 41 tonight. That's 41%. So not terrible, but definitely off from the 48% they shot in the first half. And then 9 for 14 from the free throw line for the Challengers, 64%. For the Crusaders, they shot 16 for 45 on the night, 36%. So the Challenger defense doing a good job of holding the percentage down. Shooting-wise, pretty well. Just need to clean up the boards. There's a few other things they can clean up, turnover-wise as well. But the Crusaders did a good job of shooting the ball and hanging in there, especially at the end, making it close. 8 for 12 from the free throw line for the Crusaders, 9 for 14 for the Challengers. 15 turnovers for St. Mary's to 14 for Cascade. So very close at the end in the turnover battle, and both teams doing a lot better in the second half of taking care of the basketball than they did in the first half. The Challengers with 5 turnovers in the second half, and St. Mary's with just 4. So both teams did clean that kind of stuff up in that second half. Scoring, first for St. Mary's, Noah Friesen with 5. Caden Walker led the way for the Crusaders. He had 18 points tonight. Eli Haynes with 12. DePlanch had 5. Foster with 2. And Johnson with 5. So that's your scoring for the Crusaders. For the Cascade Christian Challengers, Bradley Richardson, we mentioned, had those 2 threes. He had 6 points. Daniel Nearing with 2. Austin Maurer had 13 tonight, so only 13 for Austin, but he only took 9 shots. He was 4 for 9 for 13 points, and he made all 4 of his free throws as well. Landon Hess had 3 tonight. Tristan Wallace with 5. And leading the way for the Cascade Christian Challengers again tonight, 23 points for Cody Reese. And he did that making 5 threes tonight. I think that's probably his high point in his career for making threes in a game.
Absolutely.
So, like you said, a little bit scary at the end and a little bit ugly, but the Challengers managed to get a win.
Well, in the course of a long season, you're going to get that there'll just be a couple of those games where you go, oh, I think we just got by with that one. But those are going to happen, and hopefully those are the kind, if you win ugly, you say, okay, well, what can we learn from this? And what can we improve on? And you also see what things that teams will throw at you, like with St. Mary's and their zone, which was effective tonight. And, if anybody can find a way to combat that, Coach Brian Morris and his crew, Scotty Morris, Ryan McLemore, Jeremy France and company, they'll find a way. They'll find a way, and it'll be good because that it's only going to get tougher once you get past the league schedule.
Well, and there's a lot of work to be done. Oh, absolutely. You're right about that. And there's a lot of work to be done here in the month or so that, well, I guess it is almost exactly a month that we have left in the basketball season before state.
Right. So what'll happen is a couple of road dates this week. You mentioned, Mark, a game on Wednesday against Sutherland, then a big road game on Friday night against Brookings Harbor, and that's going to be a tough battle for them.
Yeah, it's Sutherland has struggled this year. Not much. I don't think the Challengers will have too much trouble with them. But that's a Wednesday night, remember, and it's a Wednesday night game before a Friday night trip to Brookings. So that this week is going to tell a lot about this team and how they hold together and whether or not they can really take care of business, because I think the one thing I do think is that Brookings, South Umpqua, and Douglas are definitely the 3 teams that are, they're all kind of beating each other up so far in the season is what we've seen. So, you want to make sure as the Challengers that you take care of business with that game over in Brookings, because that is going to be more because of the environment, I think, and the trip than anything else. I mean, you saw the Challengers at Douglas. They took care of business up there. They get Douglas at home at the end of the year. But they've still got to go to South Umpqua, and they still got to go to Brookings, and both those places are going to be rowdy and difficult to play in.
You bet. And so for us, our next broadcast will be a non-conference game on Monday the 7th against Cresswell. So we'll be, we'll kind of salt things away for a little bit and kind of watch how things go over the course of this next weeks with these couple of big games coming up. But with the victory tonight, the Challengers raised their record to 12-4. The Crusaders fall to 5-10, but they didn't look like any 5-10 team to me tonight.
No, they played very well and really stepped up, especially the Challengers pulled away from them there in the third quarter, and it started to look like the snowball was going to go down the hill and it was going to be one of those blowout games for Cascade Christian. But to the Crusaders' credit, they came right back, roaring back there in the end of the third quarter and made it a game in the fourth.
Sure did. Well, that'll wrap up tonight's broadcast where the Cascade Christian Challengers defeat the St. Mary's Crusaders by a score of 52-47. Our thanks to all of our sponsors that help make this possible. For Mark McLemore and for White Rainey, I'm Jim McCoy. Thanks for joining us this evening, and have a great weekend.